Wolverhampton author, born and bred, Ian Cattell has got a book that has recently been published, and he joins me now to tell me more about it. Hello.
Hiya.
So we have it in front of us, The Long Lost Future, and you're in a sort of Douglas Adams, Terry Pratchett kind of world.
Those are my favourite authors.
Yeah.
And it does come out in the writing. It wasn't in. I don't copy them or anything. It's an original style, but the humour is very Adams-esque. Yeah.
So something you've enjoyed reading and maybe takes you away from the world of being of software and your work in that neck of the woods.
Yeah, well, the software engineering was. I've got a little business, but it's gone by the way now since this has come out. I don't really do a lot on the software side these days. It's all promotion of that at the moment. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, and even with a publisher, in the case of Netherworld with this one, there's still an awful lot of work that you have to do as an author, whether they're sending you off to events or whether it's things that you're putting together to make sure you're promoting the book as best you can.
Well, that's right. Online is where it's at the moment. I'm spending my entire time basically on Facebook at the moment, selling things.
So you're like a 14-year-old at the moment, but you're not chatting and trying to date. You're actually trying to get people out there buying your book.
Well, I'm 51 now, so 14's a long time ago. Yeah, I'm a member of a number of Terry Pratchett fan groups on Facebook. The one I interact with mostly is called We Ain't Dead, which is a line from a Pratchett book that only Pratchett fans will get. And I've been a member for a while, and then the book came out, and I thought, right, So I mentioned it to them. A few of them downloaded it, and then they've reviewed it basically for the other members of the group, and said, "Get this, it's just like Pratchett." A few of them have said, "I finished it last night, and I'm going to start it again tonight."
See, that's nice. When you've got a book that people feel they can reread. Because I've reread most of Douglas Adams stuff at least twice. If you're ill, you think, I'm a bit under the weather. I know, I'll sit down and read The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, something like that, just to cheer you up a little bit. And when it comes to that reaction, that must be great as an author.
It's amazing. Imagine I'm a newbie author. This is my debut novel. The publisher snapped it up within a week. It was the first publisher I'd sent it to. I thought I'll self-publish, when I'd finished it. But I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. So and the first publisher I sent it to snapped it up within a week, even though they said on their website, we'll get back to you in a month. And within a week, I'd got we'll have it.
Well, I've already read the opening line. I haven't read the rest of the book, but I've read the opening line. That's enough to draw you in straight away. And how did you approach the writing? Was it a case of, whilst working, I'm going to write a chapter here, a chapter there, or did you sit down and consciously try to write a book? Because it's a good heavy volume.
Well, it's 95,000 words, which is a little bit too much for a debut novel, so they say. But, actually what happened is, my parents passed 2 years ago, within 3 months of each other, and I'd been their carer for 5 years. So when they passed on, For 6 months, for 6 months, I was staring at a wall.
Yeah, you got not only the grief, but also the solitude, and that must have been quite difficult to deal with.
It was a distinct change in life direction. You know what I mean? I was gobsmacked. So I got back into my work. I wrote some software. I wasn't enthused by it. And then I'd written sort of maybe 5,000 words of that a couple of years earlier. And I found it again on my hard drive while I was tatting about and thought, actually, that's not too bad. So I just said, right, I'm going to do this. I am going to. So I spent like 12 hours a day for 6 months on it.
That is how you got to 95,000 words then. That is an awful lot of work.
Yeah.
And when you were writing the story then, were you already aware of this world in your head? Was it somewhere you'd visited in your mind's eye, or was it a case of, I'm going to plan and put this together now?
The outline of the plot was in my head. I knew where I wanted it to go. I know I wanted it to be a satire. Basically, the plot is a mechanism to satirise what's going on now. So that's it's a twin timeline kind of thing. So I can take the mick out of this world from 600 years in the future and allude to things that are going on now. Basically, the plot is just a mechanism for the gags and the satire.
So who are the main protagonists in this? Have you got a group of people who may well follow you into a second novel?
Yes, I'm already working on the second novel. 5,000 words in it as we speak. Randall James is the protagonist, and his mentor, Marcus Hann, and his definitely ex-girlfriend, Cindy Lehman. And they go on an adventure, a time travel adventure to the other side of the world and then to the past and meet a lot of strange characters on the way, talking trees, talking birds. That's where the fantasy aspect comes in.
Yeah.
The Pratchett fans will appreciate that, and they do. They've reported back that they do. And it's also a hero's journey type of story. Randall grows throughout the book and ends up as a different person.
Okay, and how much does he start out as you? Or is this you putting yourself into a position you'd like to be in with time travel, and particularly the talking trees?
I'd like to meet a talking tree. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? There's bits of me in all of the characters, to be honest. It's hard not to put a bit of yourself into a character because it's, their speech is coming from you. So there's a little bit of sort of acting involved in your head. You sort of take on the persona of the person that you think it is, and try to come up with the words they'd say, which is an interesting 6 months. If you can imagine waking up in the middle of the night with a character's line going through your head, going, "Oh wow, that's a good idea," and reaching for the pad,
trying to write it down some way. Yeah,
that happened a lot. Yeah, as you can tell by the eye bags, probably.
Well, this is it. And if you're already on the next novel, then that's obviously going to make a difference. And I suppose it's important to do whilst these characters are fresh in your mind, so you don't have to reread your book.
Yeah.
Have you read your own book more than once?
During the editing process, I read it about 6 times.
Okay.
Each time it was a different version.
Yeah.
But when I got to the last read through, it was I'd done as much as I could to make it polished. It worked, I think. Yeah. It is. Keeping the characters fresh is useful. Yeah. But the characters are changing as well. In the sequel, you see, in that book, I don't want to give any spoilers away. But this timeline gets erased. So it's a bit difficult for a sequel.
Yes, it changes things and moves on. But as long as I've read the first book, they will understand the second completely. And who knows where this world is going to lead to. And there could even be spin-offs. There's characters in there who will probably want to find their own novel to go and live in.
Yes, well, there's a character. It's been reported back to me that the favourite character so far is a character called Big Bill, who is a talking raven. Okay. Now, I've got plans for him in the sequel. If you've read the book, you'll know that he escapes at the end. I can't give too much away because I haven't actually written the plot out myself for the sequel yet.
So as soon as you know, you're prepared to share bits of it.
I've got ideas for Big Bill, put it that way.
But is there a kind of online presence for these characters as well? I mean, do they have their own Facebook page yet, or is that something you're still looking at working on once you've got the book really out there?
They haven't got a Facebook page, but I have. I'd set up I've got a couple of Facebook pages now. And that's where I sell it. Basically, I'm chatting to the Terry Pratchett fans online, and just being authory, kind of thing. I'm just writing a few choice paragraphs here and there, and you can write, And, it builds
and drawing them in with little short clips and bits of story. So that sounds good. So, what is your Facebook page and your website?
Well, I'm Ian Cattell on Facebook. You can find me. My profile is public. And it's iancatell.online on the website.
So iancatell.online. Find it that way. Or just look for the Facebook page for Ian Cattell. The book.
Amazon.
Amazon as well, yeah. Search for it on Amazon. You can get it there, and you get the electronic version as well as the real book
There's
too.
An e-book and a paperback, yeah.
So do all that. It is The Long Lost Future, available now from all good online bookstores and Ian directly. But Ian, thanks for having a chat with us. Great meeting up with you.
Thanks very much, Jason. Nice to meet you.